What is up? Welcome back once again. We're gonna fix a couple more things here. Yes, sir. We're gonna get Garrett's HomePod with no power. And then we're gonna get Steven's amplifier board with no power. And then that's actually gonna be it for tonight. There are a few more, but they are due for maintenance, and we want to let them test for just a little longer to make sure that there isn't a hardware issue with them that caused other problems. But these are the last two we'll be working on today. As I explained a few times during the last stream, and then when we ended the last stream, we ended because sometimes when we add new names in the middle or towards the end of our stream to extend it, a lot of people don't tend to get a chance to see their repair stream until after the fact. So when they click on the live stream, it starts at the beginning, and they look at the names at the top of the screen and they don't see their name, and they assume we sent them the wrong link. Even though if they were to fast forward, they would see their name eventually pop up. A lot of people miss it. So we just decided to end that one when we ran out of names and started a new one to throw some new names up there. Even though it's just these two here. But let's go ahead and let Garrett and Steven know. And we'll have a little more fun here tonight. And then let's let Steven know they're up next. Nice. All right. So we've got Garrett, no power. Let's take a look at their symptoms. Yep, for sure, nothing happening there. A couple of watts from the wall says the kilowatt. That is probably the usual dead diode. I'm not sure I follow. I'm being totally dumb about what you're trying to ask right now. I'm sorry. Oh, okay. In the future, if you wanted to trade a dead diode HomePod for a functional HomePod, would I do that as a service? I will eventually offer a trade-in service like that. Obviously, you can't guarantee that what's wrong with your HomePod is a dead diode. But what we would do is we would more or less charge for upfront a deposit that would cover at most what it would potentially cost to fix anything wrong with your HomePod. We would send you a refurbished HomePod in either the same shape as yours, or if you're looking for an improvement in physical quality, we can send you one in better condition, and you can sacrifice a couple of your deposit dollars towards getting one that's nicer than what you've got back. But we'll send you a nice refurbished one back. You can use the box and same stuff to ship your dead one back into us, and we'll give you your deposit back based on what it was gonna take to fix it and what condition it was in. I think a lot of people are gonna want that, because it seems like, well, there are a lot of people that love to watch getting their stuff fixed. There are also a lot of people out there that just kind of want their stuff fixed, and if they have to wait less and don't have to see it get done, and that's what it takes, they'd rather be in and out and done and not have to worry about it and moving on. I don't think we need to, like, pilot or trial run anything per se, but I've got most of it pretty well ironed out. I just need to update the website and offer it as a service already. I also need to make sure that I have enough parts on hand so that I can. It'll take a few weeks, but I'll have to send out all of my parts and be pretty short on everything until the return pods start to come back in for me to take and fix up and repeat the process. What if you sent loaners to help kickstart? That might just add enough confusion to all of my process to start making too many mistakes. I'm not sure. I do have quite a few that I have bought coming in soon. Thankfully, the parts situation is improving. I've adjusted the repair prices. I'm getting parts pods coming in. Things are all right. Do I have a federal tax ID? Yeah, something like that. I'm not an expert on taxes or finances by any means. I have to rely on what I can Google and use AI for answers and guidance to navigate my way through the taxes and whatever's involved with, like running a small business. But it's getting to the point where I'm going to have to consider paying somebody to handle my money for me. Not that I make so much, it's just getting so complicated and scary. I don't want to mess any of it up. I ever thought about taking on an investor? Oh yeah, for sure. But it involves, I think it generally involves more or less having your shit together. And right now, we're kind of just winging it and doing what we can. We don't have much of a solid goal or future for Nick's Fix as a company set in stone yet. Investors generally want plans and goals and things fleshed out. Not to, yeah. But I have thought about it, and once I have more time to really sit down and seriously consider if I want to push forward with, like Nick's Fix and, just fixing things in YouTube as a possible, like, dedicated full-time.
Please try again.
That's the second time today. You have never had a problem until now, and then all of a sudden today you're like, I'm just gonna start going off. Don't we love her? Don't we all love her, folks? Anyways, I don't even remember what I was talking about. Something about what are we gonna do as a company if we are even gonna take this seriously, like long term. I'm not sure. And at least I don't think there's any investors right now that want to hear that as an answer from someone that they're potentially investing in. What flux is that? It is the mechanics. What is that stuff? Where I had a box of it. Mechanic Nano Flux Paste. Super clear, absolutely crystal clear. No smoke, no clean. Real good stuff. How much would I want? See, that's a good question. And until an investor would take us seriously, I'd have to have a good answer to that question. And right now, I don't know, because I'm not sure what all we really want to expand into. I have all sorts of hopes, dreams, and desires, but I gotta really think about what can we practically achieve. Because, like, on one hand, we could go all in terms of expanding what we can fix, and then hiring people, like renting a building and hiring other people with similar mindsets, and then I'm fixing less stuff myself and worrying more about finding the people that fix stuff just like we do. Not in like the exact same way. Everybody has their own way to fix things, but I think you all know what I mean. Like, I don't want to hire someone that's lazy with low quality standards or just doesn't do things the right way, more or less. But that's one way we could go about it. And then we Nick ourselves focuses more on content creation, right? We've got all our guys that are handling the fixing stuff, and then we can focus more on creating content, making content out of those guys fixing stuff. And there's another totally different path we could take, which is designing like products and mods and Like, all sorts of people ask us, like, can you modify the HomePod to, like, add auxiliary in? Or another example, totally different product, the LG Ultrafine. Those monitors, the 4Ks, the 5Ks, essentially all of LG's monitors that have the one USB-C Thunderbolt port on the back as the only input source. They, I mean, conspiracy to say, it seems like they knew what they were doing designing the same thing for so many years. That port just snaps right off the board. And of course it's soldered to the main board, so it's an expensive part to replace as a whole, unless you can find a professional to replace that port on the board, and it can be an expensive endeavor. I hate taking those things on, but when people find us and ask us to do it, I'll do it here and there. But what I'd like to do with those Ultrafines is, instead of having to replace the USB port on them every 6 months to year or so, it should be a simple, flexible PCB that like a flexible ribbon that we solder to the main board, and then extends or reroutes the USB port somewhere else on a flexible connector. That way we remove all of the stress from the main board, and if the port still gets damaged down the road, it would be much more easily user replaceable, instead of them having to pay a professional to get the same repair done inevitably down the road. I cannot emphasize how awful the design on those LG Ultrafine monitors are, and I think there's a reason why you don't see too many people fixing them anymore. You saw a whole bunch of videos when people figured out how to fix them at first, and then a lot of it dropped off. And I think that a lot of that has to do with how unreliable fundamentally that design is. How stupid is it to have only one single input mounted directly on the back of your monitor that sticks straight out the back? The port is soldered directly to a $500 main board, not a daughter board that you could just unplug and replace if needed. You know, that'd be smart. Your MacBook Pro does it that way. The USB ports on your MacBook Pro are just on this tiny little board that you can unplug from the main board and replace them. Easy peasy. But no. For generations of monitors across different models, LG has continued to put that one port that one way, and it just repeatedly fails. And there's such an easy fix to it, but I'd love to spend the time to sit down and learn how to design a replacement drop-in, like, mod product for that. But we're just so gosh darn busy with all these gosh darn HomePods, huh? What are my thoughts on strictly capital for royalty? I see, the words by themselves, I know what they mean, but put together in that sentence, and I start to lose it. I don't really understand. But I might just be like, I might just be getting tired too. Shoot, it's already 8:30. We haven't had dinner yet. Companies stop making money the second they sell the product. That's just the beginning though. That's the small stuff. I want to come up with ideas, and like I don't know. The big dream, the big goals would be to start up a technology company that just absolutely wipes the floor with all of its competition. Like, we're talking speakers and phone, just general consumer electronics. Like, I don't know. It seems like so many people are talking about like how easy it could be to just make the perfect phone or the perfect this, that, or the other thing. And you can't make the perfect thing that makes everyone happy, the one size fits all, right? Like kind of like that image that floats around of the iPhone if everyone had it the way that they wanted it, and it's got like a million different ports on it and screws holding it together and physical switches and toggles and replaceable batteries and the things like this big, and you get the point. Whoa. Wow. Seems like we're gonna need to take another look at this one here real quick. That was very startling. We probably just have something bridged together that shouldn't be. Let's see here. That spooked me. I haven't been startled like that by a repair in a good minute. Dang, and here I thought we were gonna get out of here easy with Steven's repair, and there's gonna be a nice, quick, easy, short one. Jake, what is up? What is up? What is up? We're taking a look at what may have possibly gone wrong with our repair here. Random iPod repair question. Well, I'm not exactly an iPod repair guru, but I'm happy to hear you out. Oh yeah, that'll definitely do it. We have one of those filters there are just a bit far too down. It is making contact. Thankfully, that's not a fatal mistake. We just got to fix it here, and we'll be well back on our way again. All right. That is a lot better. Can't believe I didn't see that. Oh, I know what happened. Y'all had my head in a cloud. I was going off about my hopes and dreams and desires. And I let myself slip. Let's see, you were messing around with your 5th gen. The ribbon connector that connects the battery came off from the board. You've managed to resolder the plug back on, but I'm assuming it still doesn't turn on then. Huh. Oh. The screen is glaring. And it makes it look like Shuffle Hands was not talking there. It was all the same person talking. I didn't realize the 5th gen had a ribbon cable for the battery. But in any case, I mean, you should be able to just, like Shuffle Hands said, solder the sucker back on unless you ripped any traces off the board with it. If you ripped the pads off, in which case you'll need to run, trace wires to it, or you could just solder the battery wires straight onto the board. But it sounds like you don't have much left to lose, so. Yeah, Shuffle Hands has sound advice there. If it's anything like the 4th gen, then that connector should be pretty, let me see. Pretty unpopulated all around. If the connector's not damaged, with a little practice you should be able to get it on there. You'll need to be careful with the heat. Of course, you're inevitably going to probably melt the connector a little bit, but if you're careful and you don't damage it too much, you should still be able to plug the battery in once you've got it on there. Yeah, and you can just hop on eBay too. eBay tends to have pretty cheap options for replacement boards if you need it. Or you could set it into your boy Nick's Fix here. We'll take care of it for you. Nixon. You gonna go to Green Run? Well, see, Hanford's still like a 2-hour drive from here. But if you're planning on going to Green Run, and you'd make the drive up to like Seattle / like Bellevue area, we could potentially plan some kind of meetup. See how many people would be interested. I'm not sure. We could call it like a meet and fix or something. Try to advertise just a small, like, little show up and fix a few things, ask some questions, get some help. Not just for HomePods, but maybe just for like the general community. Get people more involved in freaking fixing stuff. I can only fix so much. Some of y'all have to start fixing your own stuff here. You live in Seattle, Jake? Very nice. We're based in Bellevue, right over here on the other side of the bridge. Watch us, like, do like a whole William Osmond thing where we start like this one-time little like meet and fix meetup kind of thing, and then it turns into like a whole like small convention, and then it becomes a bigger convention, and then that's pretty much what we're spending all of our time every year getting ready for, is the convention next year. Ooh, Capitol Hill, very nice. And you got friends in Crossroads. Let me see, Crossroads, yeah, that's right up the street. We're closer to the freeway. Very, very nice. It's a very nice spot.
I'm having trouble connecting to...
All right, that is more like it. All right, this is the last one that we've got for here today. This is Stevens with no power. I got the hiccups. Alright, we've already got 2 people interested in a meet and fix. It's gonna have to happen now. We're gonna figure this out and make this happen in the next few weeks here. Now I'm getting excited. Oh yes, you should absolutely look into the Green Run experiment. If you thought Chernobyl was wild, wait till you get a load of this. We got a 48K data diode on there. Let's do a little bit of maintenance first with a fresh set of fart filters. We want to keep that DC voltage out of the analog audio signal before it gets amplified and sent to the subwoofer. We don't want a stinky subwoofer coming back to us, especially when we know better. Has nothing to do with their power issue, but it'll have everything to do with another reason for them to send it into us in the future, and I don't want to get this thing back. I don't want to get anything I've already worked on back. I want to fix it once and move on. Frankly, I don't want to fix anything. I want to make new stuff. I want to make stuff that just baseline doesn't need to get fixed. And if it does need to get fixed, it's easy for you to fix it yourself. But we'll get there one day. We can learn a lot about how to do that by fixing what we've already got. And also, it's really important to fix what you've already got, too. Like, new stuff's super cool and awesome, but if you sit down and think about it, let's take my kid, for example. What does she have right now? Nothing. She doesn't have an iPhone. She doesn't have any phone, any tablet, any computer, or anything. So her first anything is going to be a significant improvement. It doesn't matter if I give her an iPhone 4 or an iPhone 14 Pro Max. It's going to be better than what she's got. And that's the point. She doesn't have to have the absolute best and the latest and greatest. She just needs what's going to do what she needs to get done. And maybe a little extra for a little future proofing. Until she's gotten the hang of it. And she's run into it being a limiting factor. It being the bottleneck. And then you can consider, okay, I'll spend more money on an upgrade, or I'll put some money into this and upgrade it itself. I don't know. I'm just ranting at this point. I'm just going off about absolutely nothing. Old man yelling at sky. This is one of the big reasons why I don't have any interest in owning a brand new car ever. First of all, I really like the idea of owning my stuff, not paying for something that I don't own and then having to give it back. Putting all this money into it, I really like to be able to fix and work on my own stuff too, and ownership plays a lot into that. You can't fix it if you don't own it, right? That doesn't make sense. So I tend to lag a few generations behind at least on almost everything. I almost never buy new. Everything I get is all like either used or broken and needs repair. But it's, at the end of the day, still better. It's still an upgrade from what I previously had. So it's a win-win-win. I'm not creating more demand to create a new product. I'm repairing something, keeping it out of landfill, and I'm reusing it at the same time. Make her fix her first device. Haha, that's a good idea, yeah. If you want to use it, you got to know the ins and outs of it first. And like, once you know the ins and outs of it, you can do so much more with it. It's like your car too. The more familiar with how your car works, the more you can push it and have fun with it. But if you don't know what you're doing, you're just gonna get yourself into trouble and break stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna own my stuff until I die, man. Alright, we're gonna do this fella a favor and put all of the screws for the amplifier back in. Since I have so many power supplies, I'm also gonna ship this back to them with one of those. Just in the absolute rare scenario, their power supply was actually what was causing their issues. It almost definitely wasn't, but I'm going to put all these screws in for the amplifier so that way they don't possibly, as silly as it sounds, so they don't possibly break anything putting the rest of them in. Some of these can be a pretty tight fit. You never know, you might you might slip your screwdriver on the last screw, and then, you know, even if you admit fault, then you're still kind of stuck dead in the water. We'll just do as much as we can here. Am I able to see Jake's chats? Yeah, I've been reading. I haven't seen all of it. Oh, I haven't seen anything from his Discord. I haven't seen anything in Discord yet, if that's what you're asking. Alright. We'll give this back to him. I'm pretty sure that is theirs. I've got a spare logic board here somewhere that we can test this with. It's all set up and ready to produce some sound. Where did that go? Bollocks. Bollocks, 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 bollocks. It's about time to reorganize and clean this whole mess up. Oh, I found it. Alright folks, this is the end. It is booting right up. Beautiful. Folks, I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair. And I hope to catch you in the next one. Goodbye.